Hello, this is iBrand Exclusive. My name is Omrana Debayo, and I'm seated with the Director General of the Nigerian Tourism Development Authority. He is none other than Dr. Ola Awakan. He's a distinguished personality, and I'm so honored to have him here. Good afternoon. How are you doing today?
A beautiful afternoon to you. I'm good.
Lovely. How do you feel being with us today?
Well, I feel good being with you. I'm a media person, so I always like to express myself. So when I have opportunities like this, I embrace it. So it's good to be here.
Lovely. When you heard of your first appointment, the newly appointment, how did you feel and how did it sit with you?
Well, I would say that when I got this appointment, specifically September 2025, I was happy because what I have been doing over the years, this is now the opportunity to do it on a bigger pedestal. If in the past I've been positively impacting maybe 1,000 persons, now I can impact millions of people.
Sure.
Because the Nigerian Tourism Development Authority is the apex and the biggest tourism agency in Nigeria. And what the agency does is for marketing of Nigeria, promotion of tourist destinations, and also development of tourism in Nigeria. So when I got the appointment, I was happy, and I know that it's just to expand on what I have been doing, because personally, I've been a culture person, I've been a tourism promoter, I've been a thespian. Being a thespian is I'm a playwright myself, I'm an actor, I'm a dancer, I'm a choreographer, I'm a director, and all that. Basically
talented,
and I do a lot in the creative sphere. So I was happy, and I said it's an opportunity to contribute my quota to nation building.
Sure.
And so it's an assignment that I am glad I have, and I want to make history. I want people to say good things about me by the time I've spent the number of years that God wants me to spend on this.
Thank you. I've read so much about you online, but can you please give us some little background about you? I mean, I would love them to hear from their horse's mouth. How did it all begin?
Well, you've mentioned my name. My name is Ola Awakan. In full, I'm Ola Awakan. I grew up in a place I'm always proud of. I grew up in Ajegunle in Lagos. And I grew up with my grandparents. I was 5 months old when I started living with my grandparents. Nothing happened to my parents, they were fine. But because my father happened to be the only surviving of his parents, the only surviving child, and my grandparents were lonely, and I was the first child. So when I was 5 months old, my grandparents took me over, and I started living with my grandparents. So I was exposed to the creative environment there because my grandmother was into hairdo, so she could design hair, local hairdo and all that, which Yoruba people call onidiri.
Okay.
And my grandfather was onishono. Onishono is somebody who you do creative things with leather. So you could do bags, you could do shoes, you could do whatever, anything, creative things with leather. So that's a creative, environment, a creative home that I grew up. So probably that influenced my creative intuition. And I also started as a visual artist. So I can draw. I started drawing when I was in primary school, so I could draw. So I started doing picture frames for people on my our streets there in Ajegunle, and I was making small money, I draw for my my mates in school, in primary school. I was making money. So I started in the arts from that particular, area. Even my grandmother taught me how to weave, so I
Oh,
can weave
really? You
hair.
can weave
I can weave
hair?
hair.
Wow.
And I can make palm. I
Wow,
can
that's
make,
amazing.
shoes and all that. So that was how I started in the creative world. And then growing up in Ajegunle, it's interesting. People say Ajegunle is a jungle city, and but I saw an environment that is ready to groom anybody that is interested to be a better person in the society. Two things about Ajegunle is, if you want to be good, you'll be good to the extreme. If you want to be bad, well, you have your choice to be bad to the so I chose the other side to be good, and to the glory of God, here I am. I went to a public primary school, I went to a public secondary school, and I went to a public university.
Wow.
My primary school was Wowo Primary School in Ajegunle. My secondary school was Ajeromi Felodun High School in Ajegunle, and my university for my first degree was Olabisi Onabanjo University. My second degree was at Unilag, Mass Comm. But people would always think that I did theatre arts because of my full involvement in theatre arts activities. But I just did it as an elective course back then in the university. But before I got to the university, I was already into the theatre. From secondary school, I was the vice president of the Cultural and Dramatic Society.
Wow.
I was the programs director of the press club. And immediately I left the secondary school, I joined the professional theatre group, and I started dancing at the National Theatre. I started writing scripts for my secondary school, and that has been me all along. So if you ask my mates in primary school, they will tell you, if you ask my mates in secondary school, in primary school, in the university, they will tell you this is what he's been doing for long. In fact, to the level that when I was in the university, when you do elective courses, you only do them for 100 level, 200 level. When you get to 300 level, you select, you go back to your department. But I was so active in the performing art department that the head of the department then, Charles Shomadi of blessed memory, called me to his office and told me that blessed day, I said, all I want you to do is just say you want to be a student of the performing arts. Leave the paperwork, I'll do it for you. I told him, I said, no, let me be a student of mass comm, but anytime you needed my support or my contribution in your department,
I'll be willing.
I will be willing, and I'll be very much. And that was what I did. My first time in Abuja, I joined the contingent, the performing arts, to represent my university at the Nigerian University's Creative Art Festival. My first time in Calabar, I was also part of it to represent my university at the Nigerian University Theatre Arts Festival. So it's been like that. And I had my dance group. I founded a dance group on campus. I trained some persons. I was also part of some dance groups before I got to the university, like Visitors Art Academy, like Choreography, theatre group, and all that. So that has been the journey. And my father retired as a chief superintendent of the federal government press.
Wow.
So he was more of a journalist with the federal government. And my mother was a professional photographer.
Wow.
So a photographer, a journalist father, a grandmother who was into hairdo, and a grandfather
what
who
more
was...
can you ask
so
for?
everything is just in a creative environment. So this is me.
Thank you for putting us through your background, and it has proven that you are a powerhouse. Now let's go back to your new endeavor now.
Okay.
You're catering for people. More spectrum, like you said already. So how do you navigate your way, being a family man and also with your new office? Firstly, how did your family take this new appointment? It's a promotion. How did they take it?
Well, it's a promotion, and my wife was excited because really this is something we've been, waiting for.
It's long overdue.
Yeah, it's long overdue. Because I, as a journalist with, a broadcast journalist with Television Continental, I was assigned to be the correspondent with the now President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. So I've always covered him all the years, even as I was covering arts, culture, tourism, and all that. So I was close to the family. And when the campaign started, I moved with him to Abuja. And all through the period of the campaign, we were together. I covered all his activities all through the campaign. And I did a lot to the best of my ability. And so when he was sworn in as the president of Nigeria, I were excited. And one fulfillment that I had that time was that we went with him and we delivered him as the president of Nigeria, because I was the correspondent attached to the president. And I did my best to push out his agenda. I did my best to talk about his activities across all the 36 states and FCT. And he became the president. So that's a fulfillment for me as a journalist, assigned to the president. And away from that, even as a journalist too, to know that I had several awards that I received myself, from the Apex Media Award in Nigeria, NMMA, to DAME, to other awards like that I've received. So, but for this, being a correspondent that covered the activities of the president and became the president of Nigeria, was fulfilling for me. So when it got to the period when appointments were dished out and people were being announced, we're looking forward to, in fact, people were saying, no, you have to be among the first batch of people that will be appointed and all that. But for me, I just said, God, let your will be done. So the appointments were coming. I didn't get any appointments. In fact, the person that was my cameraman got an appointment.
Wow.
And I didn't get any appointments. And I came back to Lagos. I continued my work as a reporter. And I was doing my work. I was doing my special report, which I had flair for. Documentary, storytelling, discovering talent and all that. And I was doing it 2 years plus, nothing. And all of a sudden, I got a call from the office of the secretary to the federal government, SGF, to the government of the federation, that I got this appointment. And what was the appointment? Director General of the Nigerian Tourism Development Authority, which is a huge one.
Huge responsibility.
A huge responsibility.
Yeah.
And as God would have it, I've always admired that
position,
that office. Because I worked, when I was a journalist, I covered tourism, like I said. And there's a woman that's called Mama Tourism, Mrs. Omotayo Motosho.
Yeah, I've met her.
She was a DG. She was a DG of NTDC then, now NTDA. So I covered her closely. And she was like a mentor to me then as a journalist. So I always go to her, we talk and all that. But I never told her that I wanted the position. All I wanted was just to have an opportunity to serve my nation. In fact, when I was with Mr. President, it was the same thing I told him, that all I wanted was just an opportunity to serve the people. So when the appointment came and I was announced as the DG of NTDA, I was excited. And that was the only agency that was left without to be occupied under the Ministry of Arts, Culture, Tourism and Creative Economy. And remember that when Mr. President came on board, he had 3 ministries, from the formal Ministry of Information and National Orientation to Ministry of Information, National Orientation, Ministry of Arts, Culture and Creative Economy, and Ministry of Tourism. There were 3 ministries created. But due to a reason or two, the Ministry of Tourism was merged. The Ministry of Arts, Culture, Tourism now added, and Creative Economy. So that was us. So the only agency that was left without, a DG was NTDA. So I said, God, when I said, let your will be done, you kept that office for me. And the DG that was there had left like few months, I think 6 months to when I was appointed. So it was the most senior director
Okay.
that was occupying
That,
as an
okay.
acting
Okay.
DG before I came on board.
Mm.
And ever since, I've been doing my best to the best of my ability, even with the constraints that I saw in the agency, to put a face, a refreshed face to the agency, to make people see that tourism is not something that we should joke with as a nation.
It's a serious business.
We are a nation of abundance.
Yes.
And the only way we can make the world see our abundance is through tourism. And I've started doing that, and I know that this year 2026 will be bigger
better,
and better.
will be great.
Yes.
Speaking of nation and country, and it's our nation, it's our Nigeria.
Yes.
What core idea do you think the people have or misunderstanding about the perception of what Nigeria really is? And what's your view on it?
The perception of people about Nigeria.
Yes.
Well, Nigeria is a blessed nation. I feel that one thing that Nigeria lacks is, number one, we've had in the past leadership challenge. And away from leadership challenge, patriotism has also been a challenge. I feel that everything should not be put on the desk of the government alone. The government has a role to play, a huge one to play in nation building. But people too make up the government. In the past, when Nigeria was the toast of the world, we had people who were diligent in the things that they were doing. And we had people in government too who were also, doing their best to contribute to nation building. But something happened along the line, and people started behaving their own ways, and the government too, corruption crept in, and everybody was doing their own thing. But the only thing I can say in this regard is that we need to be patriotic as a people. There's no individual that will be given an opportunity to serve that would not want to serve to the best of his ability. Okay. There's nobody. There's no devil in Nigeria. But I tell you that when you assume the office of power, you discover that there is a whole lot. There are factors that may, hold you back from doing some things. Away from those factors, there are some things that you will do yourself and that need to trickle down and will not get down. So there's a whole lot that holds leadership back. You can't tell me that the presidents that have served didn't have good intention for the nation. No. There's no leader without good intention, because you want to leave a legacy. But sometimes when you get there, you get handicapped. Some people, will hijack the system from you, just like what happened to President Buhari himself, what happened to so many other people. But we thank God that we have a president now who is passionate about the people and is also daring. Daring in the sense that he knows that there's a problem in the system, and he's the only one that can face the problem and tackle the problem and bring it to zero level. He's not a saint. But I tell you that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR means well for this nation. And the policies that he has put in place, though those policies may look harsh to the layman, may look harsh to the grassroots and all that, but they are policies to revive the economic strength of this nation. And with time, if you call economic experts to analyze some of these policies, they will make you see that these policies will be good for this nation in the near future. It may not be in the immediate.
Spontaneous.
It may not be spontaneous, but definitely Nigeria is going to enjoy it. And when it started, and there was hike in food prices and all that, but as you could see, things are getting better.
Would you say that the anger of the people are justified by Mr. President's policy?
No, the anger of the people justified. You understand? As a human being, when you are hit with maybe anything, you definitely react. You understand? So if the people, they are reacting the way they are reacting, even Mr. President himself says it, that he sympathizes with the people, because he knows that these policies, they are needed to be done, except we want the country to collapse. But if we don't want the country to collapse, there are some things that we have to put in place. It will shake the people, but posterity will judge.
Okay, let's go back to your office that you occupy, which is the office of the tourism. Now, I want to ask, are there ongoing projects, that are in works currently as regards the initiative that is on?
Well, there are many projects. When I assumed office, there are a few things that I saw, and I feel that I can, help to fill the vacuum and bring freshness to the tourism sector. Nigeria is a macrocosm of stories. Nigeria is a home where everything we do is storytelling. And the only way that we can, attract the international community to this particular nation and to the abundance that we've got is through storytelling. I always give an instance of if we are to tell unique stories, unique cultural stories from different angles in Nigeria for 365 days, we will not repeat a story.
Yeah. We are quite rich in culture.
We are quite rich in culture.
Definitely.
We are quite rich in tradition. We are quite rich in everything. Our heritage, our food. So I feel that storytelling is a thing that we need to revive our tourism sector, which NTDA, through my administration, we're going to focus on. We're going to turn around some of these tourist destinations, heritage sites, into real stories that will, use to attract the international community. I was in Riyadh and I know what I saw. I was in Ghana and I know what I saw. When I was in Riyadh, I sat down and I looked at it closely. I said, look, this is a country sitting on a desert. They have practically nothing. But the good part of it is they've created something from the nothing they have. We have abundance. We have more than enough. I think our problem is that we are confused.
Okay.
Because we have too many.
Okay.
When you are when you enter a restaurant, for instance, and you have numerous dishes and all that, you look around and say, which one should I pick? I think that's the confusion.
So we are being indecisive? Is that the word?
It's not that. No, we are not being indecisive. We are faced with too many things, and we are looking at which one should we pick first. How do we, when you sit on, there was an instance that somebody gave and I picked on it. I said, look, when you are born into a silver, you are born with a silver spoon. And for someone who is born into poverty, so to speak, the one that's born into riches,
a wealthy
home, will sit down and say, there's money now, my father has money, my mother, I don't have to work, I don't have to stress myself to make this money. Meanwhile, if you don't stress yourself, the money will fizzle out. So you have to work to keep the money flowing and to make it bigger and better than that, to sustain it. But the one that is born into poverty will sit down and say, I don't have anything. How do I make myself important? How do I create something from the nothing that I have? We'll be serious about it and we'll make something out. We'll strive more to make something out of that. So I think we were born silver spoon. We have all it takes. All we need to do is also sit down and identify these riches that we have, identify this wealth that we have, and turn it around to something that will bring the international community into Nigeria. So storytelling is something that I want to juice. to revive that. Then away from that too, we are looking at what does the tourism sector needs. The tourism sector is private sector driven. Sometimes people say, no, I shouldn't say that, but
It's an agency.
truly, it's what